Yeah. I can't hear you, brother. You went out.
There
you go. I was about to say, you went out.
I swear, the technical issues on my end trying to run the thing, it's just been wonky.
It's a lot,
it
bro.
works. Yeah, it'll work and then not work. But we're back. Banks versus Davis. As you can see, I'm not joined by Banks this episode.
Nah.
Last night we did the it's the V in Banks versus Davis.
Yeah.
But just in case y'all missed it, last night Banks and I did the John Cena retirement match commentary track. We covered the whole Saturday night's main event card, which was a lot without being a lot. So check that episode out. But I'm joined this episode by Van, our East Coast correspondent, repping the Black Bear.
It's hard as shit. Man. What's up, man? Happy to be on.
I was just on your guys' show talking about the comic movies this year, and I kind of wanted to do this college football preview episode. I was either going to do it solo, because this year I got really back into college football.
Right.
In terms of the grand look of it all, the past 2 years, I really just cared about the Deion Sanders in Colorado aspect of it.
That's fair.
But getting back into the bigger picture, I'm like, you know what? Let me do an episode, especially the way the playoffs turned out.
Yeah.
With the reveal last week, I was like, okay, now I
caused a lot of conversations.
With great anger and furious vengeance, it was just like I can't take it anymore. I gotta let it know. But I see you are also one. Even though I feel like, do New Yorkers really care about college football like that?
Not really, bro. Like, because a lot of our schools have either shitty football teams or don't have them at all. So it's like
exactly.
Like, I went to St. John's. There's no football team at St. John's, bro.
That's my point. Is like, since it's so city oriented, you basically would have to root like for Syracuse or UConn, right? You'd have to kind of root for the neighboring.
Exactly. And Syracuse is so far. States. Syracuse so far, it might as well be another state. So it's like it's hard to have an attachment to it.
I feel that's the thing that kind of I don't overlook, but the fact that like upstate New York to a lot of people really is like, you might as well consider that part of like New Hampshire and
it's fucking Montana up there, bro. It's
not as bad as
Montana, like, and then you go to Suffolk and it's basically Tennessee.
It's not like how NorCal you get to a point where like, or you might as well just group this in with Oregon and all that, or the way much when it starts to border Nevada. Like, what is this? Like, I always try to think like, is Lake Tahoe technically California or is it Nevada? It's just so much on the borderline. Yeah. But I think we're on the same age. I turned 30 this year, and you're what, mid 30s? Yeah.
No, how old am I? 32. 32.
As I say, so we kind of grew up in the era where college football was really making that shift from the old school classic coaches of the 80s and 90s to the new school and the BCS and like what really is a Heisman winner.
I would say like the explosion of college football as far as like just marketing,
the video game,
all that kind of stuff.
And I think the problem with me falling off is the money aspect of it all, and not to be, I'm not as much as like a fuck, capitalism and all that, because the whole system is based off that. But when realignment was killing it, and then when it was just Clemson, Alabama, I'm like, I can't take this. I can't watch
like the late 2010s.
Yeah, I couldn't take it. I couldn't watch two schools that no one would go to, with the exception of under the table payments. I couldn't take it anymore. So like, I'm not a Shane Gillis fan, but when he pressed Nick Saban about paying the players, I respected him in that moment. There's like, and Nick Saban was like, we didn't do anything like that. We were a clean program. And Shane Gillis was like, whoa, okay, take it easy,
bro.
Because look at Dabo Swinney and Clemson now. He can't get anyone to come to school to save his life. So what was he doing all those years, huh?
But the thing with Dabo was so prideful, he doesn't want to hit that port.
Yeah, he was saying no, but at the end of the day, he knows damn well they were leaving duffel bags and gym bags. On these.
But the only difference is that they were the only people that were able to do it at the time. Like, not everybody can do it,
Because I told my girls a few weeks ago, I'm like, if I were 18 right now playing football, I'm looking at schools in Texas, Georgia, or Florida. Not even California because the taxes. I'm looking at where the women are, where the weather is good,
and
where they're going to pay me the most.
With the boosters, the alumni.
Again, I'm not going to go to Tuscaloosa. I'm not going to go to South Carolina or anything like that. Like,
I'm not going to Spartanburg, South Carolina to play football, bro. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, if Ohio State wasn't Ohio State, they would have trouble getting people to Columbus. Like, because what are you going to do? As Joakim Noah said, did you hear anyone ever want to go to Cleveland? Like,
I don't know if you ever seen a video of like they showed like all the cars, all the players that play at Ohio State. It's like ridiculous, bro. These are kids. These are 18, 19-year-old kids, bro.
Well, last night at the Heisman ceremony, they showed the Vanderbilt offensive line, and they all had the iced out chains, and that's the thing now. And you know these coaches are just like, God damn it! Like
they tried to kill Terrell Pryor for getting free tattoos.
Oh, and that was and I was even though I've never really been a full on Ohio State fanboy, I've respected players that they've had. But yeah, him, Boom Heron, those three other guys, they just like, can we get some ink? Like, can we get inked up? Like, what's it gonna take? And they're like, yeah, what's that championship ring worth to you? Is it worth the full sleeve? Like,
exactly. That's when the NCAA used to have a vice grip, and everybody kind of had to like follow the rules. But now it's like the Wild West, bro.
And the smartest person to take down the NCAA was the writer of Blue Mountain State when they had that whole episode dedicated to the free money aspect. Like, you would actually have to claim that, and that means you would be entitled to pay players and to even distribute it in a certain way instead of just hoarding it for yourself. So that was the thing. Yeah, because I was glad when they entered the transfer portal to where guys didn't have to sit out the year like they used to. Because if a regular student like you or myself were to transfer schools because we either met someone or a family thing or we just wanted to move back to it, like, we wouldn't have any issues with that. So why should why should the athletes be punished? And then the NIL aspect of finally getting paid for their likeness. Like, I'm like, all right, now I can kind of respect this game a little bit more. But when it comes to the Pac-12 dying, the SEC being the mega corporation it is now, it's just like, there's, as much as I love it, I hate it at the same time. It's the ultimate love-hate sport out of all of them.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's like basically 3 or 4 mega conferences and everybody else is kind of just whatever.
And that's what we'll get to when we look at the playoff picture, because I'm like, something has to be done. But first, let's get into the regular season that was. And last night, like I said, was the Heisman Trophy presentation. It was awarded to Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, which I didn't have a big problem with. Out of all the guys, he did kind of seem to have like the most typical old-fashioned season, the undefeated regular season.
Right.
Big key comeback moments and the numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
Were you on the Diego Pavia hype train, or were you one of the anti?
I'm not buying what he's selling. You know what I mean?
Neither am I. I saw Johnny Manziel, and you're not Johnny Manziel, sir.
Ends up to you being a backup within 5 years in the league if you're still in the league. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's going straight to the UFL. No NFL team is picking him.
You're 5 foot. For the gimmick.
Nah, you see what Dylan Gabriel's doing, and he's not even Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's true.
And Dylan Gabriel went to 3 different schools in the NCAA, not a JUCO and a smaller school. So,
yeah, man. Because I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of like the thinnest Heisman race I've seen in my lifetime. Like, none of these guys really stand out to me, and it's like none of them jump off the board to me. But I'm not too big a fan of any of them.
Jeremiah Love, I like to root for Notre Dame, so we'll get to the Notre Dame portion towards the end. But I do think Jeremiah Love, and kind of any other year, would have been a stronger contender. But the way this Notre Dame offense was, and his backup, Jerry Price, they also split a lot of carries too. I think that hurt him in the grand scheme, because last year, Ashton Genty finishing second, he had way better numbers. And it was kind of like, should he have been awarded over Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball and having decent sized numbers? But I don't think the whole running back thing is played out, because Derrick Henry won. Mark Ingram is one, even though both those guys, still Stanford guys, Heisman's, those belong to Christian McCaffrey and Gerhardt, those Heisman's. But again, that Alabama prejudice that we'll get to as well
always
wins out. But yeah, I agree. Like, this was a thin class, but I think it's harder to stand out because I think teams are trying to play smarter, because the regular season is much more difficult with the way the conference are and the strength of schedule. So we're not going to see Colt Brennan numbers anymore, or Case Keenum numbers anymore. And Julian Sayin, he just kind of was a Sam Bradford-esque type of guy. I think he just seemed like the offense built around him was just for him not to mess up. So Fernando Mendoza to win it all, like I said. And then he had a speech that I thought was, I don't want to say very rehearsed or very like polished, But he gives me. I tweeted this when they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. I'm like, this guy is a Kirk Cousins clone. There's just the way he looks and plays.
He carries
so
himself,
much.
all that.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy's like, God willing, we're gonna get this win, and he's gonna make some big throws. You're like, holy shit, this guy might be the next one. And then he'll play battery, and you're like, oh, I know what you are.
You'll be hurt. Yeah,
you're a
but
trickster.
It's
yeah,
it's too late by then. And it's just like with these guys, man. I feel like it's so much harder now because of the portal, because of NIL. I feel like there's a lot more depth on these teams now, especially these super good ones. So, they'll split. You be splitting touches with 3 different running backs, or teams that have 8 different receivers who are really good. So it's hard to stand out. Like even Genty's numbers were great last year, but like in the 2000s when we came up, like that was kind of like what happened, what great running backs did.
Yeah, and they were low key kind of shading Julian saying we're like, Ryan Day, any one of your guys on the team could be up here at the Heisman ceremony. I'm like, whoa. Like, hey. Yeah, they have Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and Cardinal Taylor. Like, hey, just because you picked the quarterback, don't throw shade at the guy. He's standing right here. But
yeah, disrespectful.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like, oh, the Heisman's trash again, or
no.
It's how like the MVP is in the NBA, where like, oh, instead of trying to give it to the same guy, they want to give it to a new. Like, I think it is just a tougher way to figure it out because, like you said, the way the backups are, and also the transferring aspect of like, I didn't know that Fernando Mendoza had been to Cal the previous season, so for him to go and just kill it out in the end, it's kind of being an indictment of both programs. It shows that Cal kind of wasted what they had, but also like maybe Kurt Signetti really is that guy because he was the one who seemed more pumped about getting the Heisman winner because now he can add that to his resume. Like, come to Indiana again. Like, why am I going to go play for you at Indiana? Well, I got the Heisman Trophy winner, and I took this basketball school to 2 playoff tournaments. So like,
they did so well that he was like, man, Penn State job, nah, I don't really need it.
I mean, the way he talks is just typical. Like, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence from Ricky Bobby. He just has like that attitude for a guy who was like Nick Saban's wide receiver coach. And now he's built him up into the self-made man. It's like that. Okay. All right. I see you, Kurt. Like, all right. Take it easy now. We're, whoa. But at the end of the day, the Heisman, will we remember this season? I think the last few with like Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, obviously they're trying to have, it's funny. Like they really didn't have any guy past Johnny Manziel on the stage. Because a lot of these guys are still playing in the NFL, which is a good thing because for the longest time, the Heisman is a death curse for NFL players. So I think it's good that we'll possibly see that in the future because, again, Caleb Williams played well today. Jaden Daniels is having that sophomore slump, though, obviously, with the injuries.
But he has a lot of things working against him,
injuries and the team being figured out. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. But the regular season as a whole, I mean, I think, obviously, it starts with the drama of week 1, Ohio State, Texas. Arch Manning's debut doesn't go to plan, and then it carries on. I'm not an Arch Manning hater, but I only defend Arch Manning in the sense of I think he sat way too long.
Yeah.
I think he needed to be playing. You can't be 18 and 19 and sitting on the bench 90% of the time. You need those reps. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind.
Quinn Ewers to step earlier.
Yep, to dip last year. Or he should have transferred. Or he just should have transferred last year. Once he found out Quinn Ewers was staying, he should have been like, all right, then I'm out of here.
You could have went right to Tennessee and started, or anywhere, honestly. Like, Arch Manning, you could have started anywhere in the, especially in the South.
But he does have something to his game. He has that Eli Manning dipshit luck where he's able to pull out these big moments and like, how the fuck is he makes it? Because he does got an arm. Like, he's able to drop these balls in the bucket. But he also has that Eli Manning, like, oh, I threw that dumbass pick. What the hell?
He's like his uncles with legs. Like,
you know
what I mean? He move around.
It's like if you took Eli Manning and 75% of Josh Allen, that would be Arch Manning. Because when he runs, you're like, well, I see why he can't play receiver. He doesn't really seem coordinated to do it the whole game. But for these moments, he seems like an athletic freak.
Yeah, and bursts,
But it didn't help that he had like 4 commercials, and every story about Texas was how good is he playing, even though a lot of the number padding was like, look at his numbers. It's the very safe type of numbers, but he's getting the job done. And I'm like, well, he's doing a lot of the swing screen passes and bubble screens. And I think Sarkisian was scared to like let him loose and was trying to play all that safe football that I think hurt him in the end. So,
and then also like even with the video game, like him withholding his name till he got more money stuff to be in the game, it just left a bad taste in people's mouth.
It was the anti-Madden curse. Like,
you should have been in it. Yeah, exactly. You put a target on your back, not being in the game. So
yeah. And I'm trying to think what else happened in the regular season. What of note happened in the regular season in your eyes, besides I'd say all the coaches being fired within the same 4 to 5 week span?
Yeah, and just the power of the media is kind of what made me notice. Like, it's crazy how these narratives start and they just become bigger and bigger things. Like, we'll talk about the firings later, but like even like LSU, like how that just snowballed into like something major that got him out of there. Because I don't think that team was terrible at all, but obviously Brian Kelly had to go.
So the two things that are on the docket in terms of the firings of coaches, or not risk, one's a firing, one's a abandonment is the link if it's strong wording. But I think what happened with James Franklin, Billy Napier, and Brian Kelly in particular was those losses in succession just forced teams to like, okay, this is a bad look for the future.
Yeah.
But it also at the same time, it seemed like those guys wanted out. I feel like college is a lot easier for coaches to quit than it is for the NFL or the NBA. Sure. Because you can, like when James Franklin was standing on the sideline, standing in the middle of the field after every loss, like I'm like
this could be it.
One, you're a self-righteous asshole the way you carry yourself. Like I'm
trying to or farm, as the kids would say.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm the guy who's bringing back Penn State. Like, it's Penn State. It had one coach for 45 years. Something happened. They had Bill O'Brien for a year, and then he dipped. Like, you're not resurrecting, the greatest program in the history of college football. It's Pennsylvania football. Relax.
Yeah, but it was kind of crazy, like how the powers that be kind of wanted them out. Like the Adidas, they got the big deal with Adidas, and they were saying like Adidas was kind of pushing the get this guy out of here. He's making us look bad. You know what I mean?
And I think he also this will kind of leads to the Notre Dame thing. But like when he was trying to sun Marcus Freeman in the playoffs last year,
he was talking big shit.
Yeah, big and Marcus this, Marcus that, and Marcus Freeman said, "Okay, man, okay, I'll remember that." And then boom,
it's the one good night in them essentially.
Yeah, and then with Billy Napier, it was just probably a guy who couldn't be at that type of big time program.
Yeah, I feel like he was a little too hot for him. It was a little too much.
It was David Moyes to United. Like, you haven't been in a situation this big.
Not Sir Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know how to handle like superstar recruits. Just like David Moyes was like, how do you coach Wayne Rooney? How do you coach this type of? Let me bring in Leighton Baines and Marwan Fellaini because those are guys I know. Two guys who speak my language. Let's not try to get Angel Di Maria or Alexis Sanchez. Let's not get guys like that. They're far too ahead of my learning curve. And the Brian Kelly thing. This guy had a great video of like Brian Kelly basically is like the most terrible football person to exist in college football because of the stuff at Central Michigan and then Cincinnati and then Notre Dame. And just
even that family, even his brother is just like, I've never heard former players of them speak highly of them. They always shit on them,
And the LSU thing, it goes to the Texas A&M game where you were trying to jinx Marcel Reed after he had
I spoke highly of him, and he just started throwing bullshit, man.
And then he threw a bad pick. I'm like, that's a guy who wasn't on the podium yesterday because you jinxed him at that moment. You made Brian Kelly look a bit. You could just tell Brian Kelly was like, get me out of the bayou. I need to go back to small time schools and just restart the cycle. He's basically go
coach in the Sun Belt or some shit, or the MAC or something.
He's almost like Doc Rivers, where like. Yeah. How are you continuing to get chances like this when you really haven't been that big time of a winner?
Yeah.
And I think the media does buy into him. And like
he's a great salesman, you know what I mean? Like he's selling.
But not really. Every time you hear him talk, I'm like, I wouldn't play for this guy at all. Like
me, because we know what we know. But if you're just an outside person, you're like, oh yeah, this guy sounds like somebody who knows what he's talking about a little bit.
The people who actually like fall for like the silver tongued devils of like bad coaching, I'm like, or mediocre coaching, I'm like, how did this guy say? Famously, the 49ers had that it was the 5 or 6 hour interview with Mike Nolan in the 2000s. Yeah. And everyone's like, what do you talk about for 6 hours? Like, are you going to coach the team or not? Like,
that's like when Mike McCarthy got recruited to the Cowboys and he that was just set up at his house.
Yeah, like, that was just bro. Jerry Jones being like, so you won a Super Bowl, right? And Mike McCarthy's like, yeah, I did. And then Jerry Jones was like, I want one of those again. Mike McCarthy's like, so do I. And they're like,
yeah,
deal.
Yeah, exactly. But that's part of the job is like a college football. You got to be able to sell people bullshit a lot of the times, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it would, now how we see like the youth is today compared to our version of the youth.
It's different, bro.
I feel like, yeah, it would be way harder to I don't want to say control, but like to communicate or like to manage, especially now that they can just dip willy-nilly and like, fuck you, I'm getting out of here and going to a school with a bigger bag. And like, you can see, I think that's why, like I said, the coaches are willing to get fired and start new, especially with the way the contract buyouts are. Like, I'm still going to get paid. That's why when they gave Mike Elko that extension, right when like the guy he's not even halfway through his current deal, and you want to lock him up. You want to lock him up for 9. Like, this is you're just
teams are so
money.
Scared. Teams are so scared, bro, of losing a guy, somebody who might be a guy for them. It's so easy to lure these guys away now. These coaches, you know.
But in all honesty, it really shouldn't, because they're all family, man. Cliff Kingsbury was the only guy smart enough to be like, I'm single. I'm not committing to shit. That way, if I get a new job somewhere else, it's just me, myself, and I. Like, I'm not taking my wife. I'm not taking my kids.
You played this smart, bro.
Because Mike Elko talked about, my family made this decision. I'm like, you made your family make the decision to come to A&M instead of staying at Duke. Like it was that hard to decide. Hey, everyone, we're at Duke. We're in Cameron, or should I take the $40 million in Texas? What do you think? What's your choice? I'm going to listen to you guys. You guys run the house.
It's like we'll talk about it later, but with Lane Kiffin, it's like, I don't even know how much money I got. Yes, you do. You know exactly how much money they're paying you.
Money? What's money?
What's money, bro?
Yeah. But
this is the highest contract a college football coach has ever had. Yes, but who cares?
I think that's the thing. Aside from the coaching, I felt like the regular season just kind of was what it was, where like Ole Miss seemed like a real contender. I kind of jumped on both Texas A&M and Ole Miss's bandwagons. Because of their quarterback play. I like Marcel Reed, even though he looks skinnier than even Jaden Daniels looks to play quarterback, but he's got a little size to him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then the Trinidad Chambliss story, I enjoyed that. The guy coming from D2 to play the starting job, and they almost had Georgia for that game, except they couldn't score at all in the last quarter. And, that was it. It was over right then and there after not being able to score on back-to-back drives.
Yeah.
And then not much. I mean, when you think about the way the Big Ten was just kind of Ohio State and Indiana, and it was like a script being written where they were just going to eventually meet. If Ohio State was not going to lose to Michigan again, but Sherrone Moore had other ideas, we're almost heading that direction there. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it just seemed like not like a blame in a negative way, but it just seemed like the coaches had more of the drama than the players or the teams themselves. I mean, there wasn't too many like upsets. I mean, Texas beating Oklahoma made sense.
Yeah.
I guess Florida beating Alabama that first week was the one to like fuck things up, and that leads into the playoffs and that aspect of it all. But overall, the regular season kind of just set up the new season in particular.
Yeah, a lot of the storylines from the season were internal stuff, like you said. Like, it's more so like teams beefing with their programs, which is hilarious. You know what I mean? But
just because the fan bases were like, enough is enough. Like, get this guy out of here. And everyone's saying like, well, the fans should dictate that much. Well, I'm like, it's crazy that you think they actually have to in LSU, because the governor runs the coaching search. So like, he has to listen to the fans. Those are the taxpayers. So
and it's such an institution. Like, you kind of like, it's a major decision to make. It legit affects your economy of your state at this point. So it's like, so much has to go into it, like, in thoughts. And it's a lot of moving pieces with that shit too. So. Yeah, man.
Okay, so that leads us to LSU, Lane Kiffin, and Sherrone Moore. So Lane Kiffin, for guys of our age, he's been a controversial figure just because he was the head coach of the Raiders for a season and a quarter.
Yeah.
And did you watch the E60 about him?
I did.
Yeah, so I honestly don't remember growing up in the Bay at that time, because I'm not a Raiders fan, but I don't remember the Al Davis PowerPoint presentation about this guy's a snake, this guy's a liar,
Al Davis is one of the greatest owners in the history of sports, bro.
Actually, he's not because he ran his team into the ground for.
Yeah, but he's a walk and shoot promo waiting to happen. Yeah, he's like Jim Cornette.
I was about to say he's the Jim Cornette of football. He did great things for the first 20 years and then terrible things the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. After Smoky Mountain, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. But Al Davis, but Al Davis should know. Don't trust this young 27-year-old guy. Like, what's what good could come of this? Or not even.
But you know what? These franchises get so caught up on that. They get so caught up in the young guy that's coming in. He knows football, and they just always get invested and caught up in that way. But
it was even funny how they're like, Sarkisian's going up. I'm just gonna go with him. Sarkisian really doesn't want to do the interview. I'll do most of the talking, and then next thing you know, I got the job. So like, but it goes back to him at Fresno State, which I had no idea. He was actually trying to play college football. So when David Carr shows up, Lane Kiffin just quits. Like, I'm never gonna play. Damn it!
Mad at him.
Like, oh, Dad, can't believe it. Guess what happened? The freshman took the job. Like, what?
Yeah. Stories all this time, brother.
And I do remember the Tennessee run because that's when I was fully invested in college football at that time.
Yeah.
He was hyping up that season of like, we're gonna do some damage here. The Urban Meyer, like, hey, this Urban Meyer. This guy's a crook. I'm telling you guys right here, right now. He's a dirty guy, which he was not wrong about. In all fairness,
it was a little early.
As soon as Florida had back-to-back losing seasons, Urban Meyer went like, "These taste pains I'm having."
Oh man! A year later, Ohio.
Jim Tressel gets fired for tattoos, the tattoo scandal, and Urban Meyer's like, "Hey, I think I could coach in Columbus,
bro,
and then wins the first
Wolverine.
ever playoff."
He hit like Wolverine, bro. Shit is crazy.
But he goes to Tennessee, ditches them in the middle of the night for USC because Pete Carroll.
I remember that. That was a big moment. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
And this is where, because I always had this idea of Lane Kiffin in my head, and the documentary proved it. I'm like, Lane Kiffin, he just seems like a dumbass. For as smart as he is at football, he just seems like a dumb human being. And when he's like, I had no idea about the sanctions coming to USC. Like, why would Pete Carroll leave USC unless something was going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
He took the worst job in the NFL, which was the Seattle job.
Yeah, that was a bad job at the time. A lot of people forget that.
Well, his first year, they make the playoffs as the 7-9 Seahawks and upset the Saints. That's what I mean. Like, he took this terrible job with Matt Hasselbeck. I think Sean Alexander had already been finished yet because Marshawn Lynch is there.
Yeah,
yeah. And it's like Lane Kiffin can't see, or he's like, I didn't think they'd be as bad. I think they were not going to take that many scholarships in this. So like, Lane.
My brother, look at all the talent SC had at the time.
Yeah.
How do you think they was getting these guys?
And if the transfer portal existed then, Matt Barkley would have been out of there.
Oh, ASAP. Yeah, for sure. He would have been playing for like Clemson, ironically, probably.
Early 20, he would have either been, an SEC school, or he probably would have went to like Oregon, I was about to say, because I think at that time that's when they had to let go of Jeremiah Mazzoli and he went to Ole Miss because of that, like a off school scandal or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He bombs at USC. They fire him on the tarmac. He goes to be Nick Saban's offensive coordinator, and it's just one of those things again, like to bring it back into wrestling. It's like that toxic relationship of like, I can't work with Vince McMahon. The Paul Heyman, Vince McMahon thing. Like, I can't work with this guy. This guy doesn't want to hear my ideas. You're fired. You're back. You're fired. You're back. Like, it's just that.
We forget with the SC thing too. The DUIs start happening.
Him as a human being
and all that. Yeah, that boy Lane, man, he was. When people say he had demons.
That's the thing. The documentary ends where he's like, Lane realized he was having a battle with alcoholism. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can tell the guy with the fat face is a heavy drinker.
The red-faced white guy, yeah. And
then when he's like, I would drink after a loss. I would drink after a win. I would drink to go home. I was just drinking. I'm like, that's called alcoholism, Lane. And then every other moment in the doc, he's like, there's these things. I call them self-inflicted wounds. Like you call them self-inflicted wounds. Just you. No one else calls them. Yeah.
Nobody else calls it that.
That's why, like, this guy is just somehow he's like this. I don't even think he's that much of an offensive genius. Like when you watch the Ole Miss offense, I'm like, I think he just knows how to use his personnel.
Yeah, I feel like he's just good with timing of things. He knows when to call certain things. He knows when to run certain players, so.
But when I was watching these college football breakdowns this year, leading up to the season, people were like, they had to change the rule book with the like telling players like stop faking injuries. Lane Kiffin was thinking like, hey, act like you're hurt, act like it's soccer, like go down, like, oh, we need a timeout. Oh, my leg, and then get back on the field 2 minutes later, like, hey,
exactly,
I'm all good, hallelujah. Him and Nick Saban, which again, obviously that was gonna be oil and water because Nick Saban is not gonna have time for Lane Kiffin's, cocky, cock of the walk. Like Nick Saban again was like you can see what Kirk Signetti took from Nick Saban, which is that like it's my way and no highway, it's my way. Like that's how
Nick Saban runs his teams like the fucking Navy, bro. Like you know what I mean?
We play cover 2. You don't bring cover 3, like all that type of stuff. Like
no weird shit with Nick,
And then he goes to Florida Atlantic to restart himself, and then takes the Ole Miss job. So this year, I'm like, well, let me kind of root for Ole Miss because I'm kind of like trying to turn the tide on Lane Kiffin, and then he does this LSU thing, and I'm like, I don't think they could really win the national title if Lane Kiffin had stayed.
No,
but I think they would have been crazy. You never know. Is at the end of the day, like because they were that close to beating Georgia, that gives you some hope.
And it's the playoffs. All it takes is for a team to get hot at the right time.
But you don't abandon your team, right? And I don't know if I was the AD, like would I let this guy coach the team just to leave? I think I would have because I don't want to mess up a good thing in terms of like. We put a new coach in, and let's say we lose the first game, and everyone's like, you should have just let Lane coach. You should have just gave him what he wanted. Even though he's leaving, you just should have let him coach the team. You had momentum with him. I agree to something like that, but at the same time, maybe he did just want to leave and was using that as his cover.
Yeah, but also it's detrimental to the kids that are there. Like, let's say they would have went on and won. A lot of those returning guys would have just been packing their bags to LSU right along with them. So it's like. And you show other kids like, come where I'm going. I'm the reason they won, But
like I said, to use the football, a manager goes to a new team, hits the transfer window right away. Like I'm going to bring some of the guys I'm already familiar with. Again, like that's the Jose Mourinho of it all. That's the thing. Like, hey, we were doing it in Serie A, let's do it in La Liga. Like,
exactly.
It ain't that different. But I think it hurts more that it would be the same exact conference. In the same neighboring states,
what a rival, bro! Like you know what I mean? Like damn, like. But nah, I think Lane, man. I think they just handled this whole thing, was just handled terribly from everybody, though. Like I feel like both schools handled it terribly. Lane, ADs, it just was bad, bro.
I do agree with what everyone was saying. Like they have to allow the playoffs to end before coaches should be able to search for a new job. In terms of like the deadline of like that window, the same thing with transferring because these bowl games, like I agree with what I'm saying, just seem meaningless now because players are either going to transfer before playing in them or just not going to want to play.
Just not play with them at all, yeah.
And the bowl season used to actually mean something, like because that's like, oh, this is the last time I'm going to see Colt McCoy. This is the last time I'm going to see Matt Stafford and O'Shawn Moreno.
Guys wanted to play in even the meaningless bowls. Guys wanted to play in them,
I don't want to do the back in my day. It was better, or we was cold.
But sometimes you got to though. You have to. Yeah.
And that just goes to again like the NCAA does have to course correct some of the transfer NIL aspect. I don't think there needs to be restrictions, but it should just be a thing of like, okay, here's when the window starts and here's when it ends. Because realistically, like, you should be locked in on your bowl. The bowl should either be the next week after your season ends. You should find a better way to like fit it into the schedule along with the awards. That way, the last month in December really is more about the playoffs, and like you get all
or for me, I would say move most of the bowls till after the Christmas, bro. I mean, after New Year's, bro. Because
this also
it's too spread out now.
Yeah, my diatribe with the playoff structure too. We don't need Sugar Bowl round 1, Sugar Bowl. I mean,
I don't like
round
that.
1.
I don't like
because you took away the great bowl games. That you're in the playoffs. You already won a bowl, essentially. You got the right to play for the national title. You don't need to be stamped the Orange Bowl champion just because you won your first round matchup. That's what I hate. Like, so put those bowl games, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, back into the circulation. And that probably would have made this Texas-Michigan game a bigger deal aside from or the maybe Notre Dame would have wanted to play BYU if something was at stake instead of fucking Pop-Tarts. I mean, I love brown sugar cinnamon, but still.
I love the Pop-Tarts bowl. It's one of the best bowls.
But and I think that's the other part too, like the Tony the Tiger Bowl. You just can't call it Frosted Flakes. You gotta call it. I love Tony the Tiger, but like you gotta call it.
You gotta put Tony the Tiger over, brother.
They're great.
They're great, brother. But no, I like the Pop-Tart Bowl. They eat the mascot at the end. That shit is hilarious, bro.
And then the Mayo Bowl and all that. But like, it does. It's the NCAA has a problem. They've always had a problem, and they
have to regulate a lot of this shit. Bro.
And they said that on the Heisman thing last night. Chris Wallace was like, the NCAA. I mean, he said college football as a whole, it's never been perfect. And I'm like, I know what you're trying to say. That the outrage of the playoffs is kind of getting to this telecast, and you don't want to say because they had Jeremiah Love and Marcus Freeman on the telecast, and they weren't trying to say anything about like, you guys really feel like you should be in the playoffs, don't you?
When you say it.
But the Lane Kiffin thing, it almost did. I can't believe I saw this earlier today. There's going to be an Amazon Prime documentary about the DeAndre Jordan indecision, which I'm like, that was a great story for a day, but that's not a great story.
It's a good Twitter story, but like, why?
It's not a great story. 10 years later, that Clippers team still didn't win, and the Mavericks team it would have won.
And it's DeAndre Jordan, bro. You're like, come on, man.
Exactly. I'm like, this is how I said this with Banks when they announced the Iverson docuseries. I'm like, I know Allen Iverson's story. If you're talking about Allen Iverson the last 10 years, that's a different story. But he was the most documented athlete of the internet era.
He's probably like one of the first ones to that magnitude, you know what I mean?
But the Lane Kiffin of like, will he stay? Where will he go? Like the meetings today. Nope, the meetings tomorrow. They had Marty Smith out there all day. Like, I don't know what's going on. They just keep telling me he's coming. And
then they told him when he was leaving, he had 10 minutes to clear out his whole office. And then his clothes and stuff is in the street.
Yeah, they kept
bad, bro.
I mean, and he goes to LSU. Like you just said, like earlier, he's like, money. It's not about money. I'm getting 70 million, but it's not about money. You know, I care about the state. I care about. And then he tries to say like Nick Saban told me to take this job. Like,
like why you trying to throw Nick under the bus? Bro?
And then I watched the game day last week when Nick Saban's like, I just said make the decision you think you should make. Like Nick Saban's like, don't.
The most generic advice you can get.
It's like The Incredibles when the Incredible White gets him in trouble. Like, you're not affiliated with me. Like that was Nick Saban. Like we coached for 2 seasons. I fired my agent because he's your agent. Like that's what's going on. And that was the other aspect. The whole Jimmy Sexton, the guy who runs college football, the super agent to all the coaches. Reese Davis had to say like, I am a client of Jimmy Sexton, and we all are clients of CAA.
He had to establish it. And Scott Morris, football.
Pat McAfee had to say, no, I'm not represented by CAA. I'm like, fuck, I know who you're represented by, Pat. WME, aka Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel. That's who you're represented by.
Exactly, bro.
That TKO merger.
And then the added layer of for Kiffin's daughter dating the guy from LSU.
Yeah. So when
it's so much stuff.
That's when I jumped on the bandwagon because I'm like, that's a real snake shit to like use your daughter to like basically poison the LSU linebacker and then to talk shit about him after the game. Like, did we cover the spread or not? Like, I'm like, all right, I kind of respect the tricks he's pulling because that's some real like in college football, you can be dirtier than the NFL.
Villain shit, bro.
Yeah. But now everyone kept posting the Seth Rogen stuff, but it's like now it's kind of fucked up. Now this is like now the tuxedo scene fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he'll probably he'll go 9-3. Next year I won't be surprised if they have a disappointing season because it seems like actually LSU players are decommitting to go to Ole Miss, ironically, which is like a slap in the face, I think, more to Lane Kiffin than it is to LSU in terms of like if they wanted to play for LSU, they would still be playing at LSU. They don't want to play for this guy based on how he handled everything. And everyone's saying like the players were just telling him to go, just get your shit and go already. Like if you're trying to lie to us, what's the point in playing for you?
Yeah, but I feel like that'll last a little bit because like once
the season ends, it's like, hey, coach, you still got a spot for me.
NIL money gets renewed and all that kind of stuff. Everybody will be, at least all the skill position players will be flocking to LSU. So I think that team, honestly, I don't think that team's far off from being great again. I don't think they were that bad this season, to be honest with you.
I mean, what are the other times this has really happened in other sports? I guess it would be the Clippers with Doc Rivers when he left the Clippers to go straight to the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
And again, Doc Rivers, I'm going to retire. I'm going to help Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee, but I'm just
Snake them, bro. Snake.
I'm just going to be a consultant. And then, hey, you guys need a coach? Yeah, I noticed something's going on. Yeah.
He's like 15 games over 500, and then now he was fired.
Giannis was like, I can't take it anymore. We're waiting too much. Let's get Doc Rivers in here to fuck it up. Like,
Coach yelled at me. Let's get rid of him. You know.
In the NFL, I'm trying to think of there had. Oh, I guess this would be the John Gruden in Tampa Bay. They were already waiting with Tony Dungy, right? And then he snaked the job from him.
Or in basketball, is the Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr.
No, all right. As someone who was in the Bay Area at that time, when he was hired, it was the thing of like they hired Mama. There goes that man to coach a basketball team. No, like again, he was the point guard of point guards as a player, but like this guy's been in the booth for the last 15 years. Like, what's he know about coaching?
My thing is like how they did with the recording his messages and taking it to ownership and stuff. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, he wasn't starting Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr got there. Was like, here's the best player on the team. It's Draymond Green. Let's put this guy on the floor. And Mark Jackson. And then there was the whole Bible study aspect. And as a as a non-religious person, I don't want to get into that aspect. But
not in my locker room, all that kind of stuff.
No. That's and that's where like again, you can't take Mark Jackson seriously if he's going to say that and I'll hit it out of the park respectfully. Like that can't be your coach. You can't take that guy seriously as a coach if he's saying these things. I guess this would be a Ty Lue and David Blatt. Like LeBron James,
similar,
Ty Lue there knowing,
David Blatt,
he knows he actually wants to play for Ty Lue at the end of the day, but David Blatt had been the coach prior to his signing. So it's not uncommon for coaches to make rash decisions in terms of, but full on abandoning your team. It doesn't happen too often, especially in a scenario like this. Like, imagine I can't even like when Leicester City won, it's not like because it's Claudio Reyna, right? He didn't abandon Leicester to go coach at fucking Tottenham or once a bigger job opened up. He was like, he knew like they were going to lose all their best players in the transfer window, but he was still like, hey, I can probably, I made it work once. I can make it work a second time. So I think Lane Kiffin was just
trying,
I think Lane Kiffin was just probably knew like maybe this was the best team I'm ever going to have at Ole Miss, and I got to strike while it's hot. So in that aspect, maybe he did make the smart choice of like, hey, we went 11-1. I don't think I can do that again, given how if a new coach takes this LSU job, they're going to have all those resources compared to my limited resources. Yeah. But at the same time, it's knowing how to use those resources because Brian Kelly obviously didn't. But Brian Kelly didn't know how to use Notre Dame or didn't know how to use. So at the end of the day, Lane Kiffin, it'll be the most interesting team to watch just in terms of like every snap, every down, every offseason thing. It's like, hey, let's not forget the position you could have been in.
Yeah. And then week 3 of next season.
Yep. That's going to be the biggest game.
He coming in like Stina, when they stay in Cena.
He was when he came back to Tennessee. He was like they were throwing stuff at me, but I understand, But he was like, it's 10 years ago, but I understand, I can't hate him for that. Yeah. But yeah, they were, I can understand it. But that segues into the other part of it. So I had mentioned the Pete Carroll abandoning ship. Jim Harbaugh, my guy, wins the national title at Michigan. Says, I did what I needed to do. The job's done. Time for me to get out of here. Go back to the NFL.
Time to get this money.
I was only in Michigan to win a national title. There's nothing repeating. Why would I want to repeat and be and
you mean cheating scandal? I'm out of here.
Yeah, cheating scandals and hey, and the guy who won the interim games, he seems like a good coach. He won every game in a row to get us to this. So Sharon, go ahead and take the reins, pal. And they went 6-6 last year, but still beat Ohio State. So that's why he was the coach this year.
Had good recruits, Bryce Underwood, and all this stuff.
They snake, and that's the other part of the LSU thing. Like people are like, is Bryce Underwood now going to try to go to LSU because that's where he wanted to go until Michigan and Tom Brady are like, here's all the money in Ann Arbor. Yeah, take it, pal. Take it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
not Sharon, bro. How do you feel about him, man?
Okay. He was already a divisive figure because he did the I'm not black, I'm OJ of coaching.
That's always a red flag.
Okay.
He pulled the Hubert Davis.
I was going to say the Hubert Davis. All right. When I get into my Notre Dame fandom defense, when Marcus Freeman did something similar around the national title, he's Asian. I think he's trying to say I respect just as much as my mother's heritage and culture as I do my father's. Right. And he's also the son of a military man. So those guys kind of be wired a
They're
little
different.
bit.
Yeah.
AKA
different.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Marcus Freeman was, I think Tiger, and he's married to a white woman as well. So the Sharon Moore thing of like, yeah, I'm a man first. Don't call me a black man. I'm a man first. And and respect my white wife. That was a thing. And I can't really, it's hard for me to be an ally, but also still say like, yeah, I wouldn't trust that guy either. If you don't want to see the truth of your life, man.
But you smell bullshit though. You smell bullshit. At least.
Well, I think I smelled bullshit when he cried after they won that game for Jim when he was crying for Jim Harbaugh. I was like, hey, what's up, guy? What's up?
Crying like Ric Flair up there, bro.
Yeah. This is the greatest moment in my life.
Look at my tear.
Without a shadow of a doubt, we won this game. I'm like, did you beat Maryland? Like, it's not
exactly,
that
bro.
I can understand throwing a parade for beating Ohio State last year. So yeah, they get Bryce Underwood
in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, they beat Ohio State, and then I think they might win. But yeah, most before they get Bryce Underwood, and they don't know how to use him. Most importantly, like this guy's supposed to be the next great quarterback, and he seems average. But I think that's the offense's fault.
Yeah.
So that'll be the thing to watch next year. Like if this guy, I watched this great video by this guy who's saying like, we got to stop trusting the 5-star ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we look at successful pros, a lot of them are in the 3-star to 2-star range.
Guys who had to work their way up.
Yep. And the guys who do well in college almost never do as well in the pros. And that's, work ethic and having a stronger roster versus, like you just said, like having to get it out the mud, having to, work the hard way. The Brock Purdy's versus the Justin Fields of like, this guy had every weapon out of Ohio State versus this guy was at Iowa State. Who'd he play with? Who'd he play for? I'm like, huh? Like
exactly.
So Bryce Underwood's at Michigan and they go 9-3. They lose to Ohio State last week, which made sense. Like, I don't think you could continue for Ryan Day to continue losing to Michigan despite being a national champion. That would be a crazy stat of like, you just can't beat this one team. And it's Sharon Moore. You can't beat Sharon Moore. Like,
yeah. It's almost like a wrestling storyline. Like you can't.
There is. Guy. Who was the whose story was like that? Wasn't it? Did the Miz have a story like that?
Yeah, Miz had a story like that.
Wasn't that kind of the point of Dolph Ziggler versus the Miz? Like you can never beat me, or
the IC title one. Yeah.
Wasn't that the whole point? Like, or just the thing of like Dolph. Every time you're in a position like this, we know what's going to happen. You're going to turn into the same old.
You can't
Dolph
win the
Ziggler.
big one kind of thing. Yeah.
Even though it's the IC title, it's not the big one, but
for him, yeah.
For him, it's the big one. It's that's his Ohio State game is being able to win. But
exactly.
But yeah, they lose in a blowout in the snow, and then it's rumored that they're going to play Arch Manning in Texas in the Citrus Bowl. I'm like, okay, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, literally nowhere, he's fired,
and it's elevated so fast.
It's from where it started. I say like 0 to 100 real quick. How quick? Real fucking quick. Like story unfolds like he had an affair. He paid for a blank. He did, because I don't know if you can say that on YouTube or not, so I'm not trying to get in trouble. He paid for a certain service, and I think that was with the Michigan money, right? So that's why it's probably going to go into that legal matter of like
I think he got his. I think he got what they used for that sent to the campus.
Yeah, and so, then
DoorDash via DoorDash. Yeah.
And then he goes home. He does the I'm gonna kill myself to his wife.
Full Benoit.
And his wife is like, Sharon, cut it out. He's like, no, don't leave me. I'm gonna kill myself if you don't. Never mind. I'm gonna go to Dave's house. Yeah. He's gonna hear me out. He does the Al Cowlings and OJ, like White Bronco. He with a butter knife, mind you. He's threatening to kill himself with a butter knife. Because he knows, like, I want a misdemeanor. I don't want a full charge.
Yeah, I don't want to go all the way, Yeah.
And he's got it by knife point and breaking and entering. It's a whole, it's Austin Pillman with a gun.
For
It's
sure. It's
crazy.
all of that. It's all of
Yeah,
that.
Triple H breaking into Randy Orton's house. It's all those home invasion storylines that we grew up watching, and they take him into custody, and then they show him. Someone that the best tweet was they had him in that cell with the zoom camera, like he was the Winter Soldier in Civil War. Like that was the best tweet I saw. He's like, I agree because like, what's this guy gonna do? Like it's he's Sharon Moore.
Bro, he's Sharon Moore, bro. He tweaked out. Yeah, like come on, man.
And then the story yesterday about the OnlyFans model tickets for the foursome, which I had to do the quiet,
salute. Like, come on,
you do
bro.
the Michael Cera Superbad.
You do the most death during the racial draft for Chappelle show. Shake his hands or something.
Yeah. So I was saying this to my girlfriend. I was saying this to Banks. I was when you're hanging around 18 and 22-year-olds all day, you're gonna take on their characteristics. It's bound to rub off of like, and
then you got this inflated thing of being the guy too. So you're like,
well, yeah, you're the football coach at Michigan. Like that's bigger than being the quarterback at Michigan. Like, this goes to Bo Schembechler and Lori Carr and fucking Jim Harbaugh. Like, you're the guy who's gonna lead the Go Blue into the promised land. But for him to be like moving as crazy as he was, and there's the video about like him and the girl on the sidelines. It's like, I mean,
so much evidence against this guy,
Yeah, it's not shocking because I mean this is a million times more shocking than Ime. The only thing that makes Ime worse is that it's Nia Long. I mean, it's not like Sherrod Moore was married to Sanaa Lathan or Carmen Electra, or you know what I mean. It's not like he had.
Then it was also funny, like the young girl, kind of like a younger version of his wife, which was kind of weird to me.
That stuff kind of makes sense in life when you think about it. That would, especially with Lane Kiffin, the way he's moving at Ole Miss, they were saying like,
he was basically Sharon shit.
I was about to say like they were saying the quiet thing about him at Ole Miss is he was doing the same exact thing, and it seems like he's gonna try to do the same exact thing based on what he was following on Instagram at LSU, which was like the LSU smoke shows or the LSU hotties of like the women on campus at LSU. But yeah, he went from like his blonde 30-something ex-wife to a hot 20-year-old Lane Kiffin did, and now Sharon Moore was trying to like, I want the I had the 2012 Dodge Charger. I want the 2022 Dodge Charger now. I want the one that's, I know we stopped making them, but like I want the last one that was updated. I
want the one with CarPlay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, you're gonna be hanging around these young guys, it's bound to rub off, and like, hey, what's that girl over there? Can you help out, give me something, help out with that, and like I said, and always after the Bobby Paterno thing, we can't trust a woman graduate assistant. I don't want to woman shame or say, make it male only, because women need jobs in football too. But like, damn 99% of the time they're fucking like,
especially with the rapid ascension she had from going from making 55 to 90,000. It's just like you made it hot on yourself, bro. You told on yourself.
It's, and I don't even think it's that like, oh, he was begging to get high. I think he just literally that like, again, I'm the guy in Michigan. No one's gonna tell on me until all of a
that
sudden,
ego of it all, probably. Yeah.
Pride comes before the fall. But to be moving that crazy, and I bet there's probably gonna be more stories coming out.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Especially if you're moving like that
with the OnlyFans model. There has to be like, what do you think's the worst? Because at least these aren't like harassment or worse allegation. It just seems like he was a nasty man. He was a freaky guy like Zion. Like that seems like people. The Zion hate is just because the woman he chose. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm a 23-year-old guy like Zion Williamson, I would try to use my status to something, I
feel like the Zion stuff is more just because he's not good. Because if he was good, I don't think anybody would care.
Well, it's not that he's not good. It's like he can never play to show how good he is. It's more than anything. But when Jimmy Garoppolo was with Kiera and me, I'm like, that's exactly what I would do if I would fucking.
He was saluted. We saluted him for this.
I'm like, if we're all in the same position, we know who you're calling up. Angela White. Hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like,
for sure, bro.
But it's just the fact that he went to the millionth level of crashing out, which I mean,
historic crash. He had the craziest 24 hours.
That didn't involve like actual violence or anything. It was the most PG version of crashing out, but like he had the 3 stored finishers of like finisher. It was just, he was taking it to the extreme.
Plus, think about it like this, man. For 24 hours, losing your job, your wife, your side chick, and now your freedom in 24 hours is like historic, bro. It's crazy.
And now, if you're a guy, do you think like he ever has any redeeming factors for football? Like, I mean, let's not forget Sharon. He's a hell of an O-line coach. Okay, like at the end of the day,
he'll go to a JUCO for about 2-3 years, mid-major a few years after that, and he'll be coaching a P5 and within 10 years. You know.
Yeah, but Michigan now is and there was already the talks of like now Brian Kelly's going to drive up to Ann Arbor and say, "Hey guys, I heard you need a coach." Like,
and he might get a look. He might get a look, bro. You know,
I don't think
it's a nasty carousel in this college coaching. Yeah. They just pass around the same people. You know.
Well, before we go off topic, the way they were saying is that Lane Kiffin secretly wants the Alabama job, which I'm like, why would you want to follow in? Unless you actually like wants to like piss on Nick Saban's legacy.
Yeah.
Like, watch me do the same fucking shit. It's not hard to win a national title at Alabama. Nick, watch me do it too. Because they're saying he was potentially kind of waiting out to see if Alabama would fire their coach, Caleb DeBauer.
Yeah.
And look his way. Because the other aspect was the Florida job. He was just telling Florida was
playing with Florida.
Florida was a girl throwing themselves at him, and he was like, I'm good. I'm
cool, bro.
Florida's a bad bitch too. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, again, like this is the swamp. This is all the the resources they have. Again, South Florida, like all the recruits you can get there. He's like, no. I'm thinking bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah. Like, she's she's nothing to me. No, this whole no. But yeah, so Florida's like
him going after the Bama one though. I think the Bama one
when it's available.
Because I think I just think more so is the power that he's seen Saban have. You know what I mean? That's gonna attract you. You know what I mean? So
literally in that E60, he said, "I didn't want to be John Elway when I was growing up. I wanted to be Tom Landry." I'm like, what kid would say I want to be the coach?
Psychopath.
I want to be the coach instead of the player. Like when I was like, oh, I want to be Mike Vick. I want to be Peyton Manning. I want to be Tony Dungy. Like that's who I'm like.
I never wanted to be Phil Jackson. I wanted to be Michael Jordan.
I mean, I would want to be Pat Riley. Yeah. I don't want to be.
That's different. That's Pat.
I don't want to be Tex Winter. I don't want to be.
Bro.
Stan Van Gundy or Jeff Van Gundy. Like what the?
I don't want to be Joe Torre. I want to be Derek Jeter. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. So that's how you know we were dealing with a different breed. That's when and obviously being the son of a coach helped fuel that.
Yeah.
But these two guys, like I said, they were the rated RKO of coaching this year. They were
the brothers of destruction of college football.
And I think they were worse than brothers of destruction because, like I said, I mean, the way Lynn Kiffin was moving is way harder than the Undertaker King was moving. Sharon Moore was, like Edge rolled into one. If he has a sex tape come out, then oh my god, we're even more screwed. If that's probably the next domino to drop.
The funniest thing is so I listen to this podcast called The Sports Gossip Show. You should definitely check it out. And all the reports of the yoga studio he went to in Oxford, Mississippi, of people just hating fucking Lane's guts have been hilarious, bro.
Yeah, every story where he goes, it just seems like he rubs people the wrong way every stop he goes, which that's not hard to believe based on how he looks and how he acts. And this is why it was so funny when Daniel Tosh made fun of him all those years ago, because he was a dead ringer for him.
He was ahead of the time. He was ahead
when he did the Crimson Kiffin corner.
Yeah.
And Daniel Tosh being a Gators fan, he was probably like, "Oh, don't fucking hire this guy. This guy's I know Lane Kiffin. I'm Lane Kiffin. I know Lane Kiffin. Like, don't."
His worst nightmare almost came true. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the way that people are like, "Oh, Lane's such a dick," and it's that thing of like, can he coach football? Yeah, but I don't want him around. He has that. Yeah. It's almost unlike the Jose Mourinho thing of like, is it worth it? Is the headache going to be worth it when you know what he's going to say to the media, when you know he's going to want to get rid of the two key players?
Yeah.
And
when you know when the team shit starts going bad, it gets exaggerated because of how crazy he is. You know what I mean?
More coaching than the longest yard.
He is.
I mean, essentially, he's going to start running the games in the Ann Arbor prison, in the Kingstown prison.
Yeah, exactly, man.
All right, but so we're heading to our last topic.
Shout to Sharon,
because again, I don't want to say we would all do it,
but not to this extent.
We would all do it.
Not to this extent, bro. Jerome's crazy.
Just don't get married. Just don't get married.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so last Sunday was the playoff selection show, which I'm
Chaos
shocked
every year.
I'm shocked they actually like sped through it in the first 40 minutes the way they did. I thought they would actually kind of like do 2 picks every 20 minutes or 2 picks every 40 minutes, something like that, and really like drag the emotion and the drama out of it. But they're like, nope.
It wasn't too much drama this year, though. It was kind of
there was because let's look at it.
It was more straightforward than the FSU shit last year.
Oh, that's the one 2 years ago. Yeah, with
2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
let
rough.
me take out the banner first. So, number 1, Indiana made sense. They beat Ohio State, the battle of the undefeateds. Indiana deserved to get number 1. Ohio State also deserved to get number 2. You lose to the other undefeated team in a game that close just because the kicker misses. Those field goals. But those field goals are tricky as fuck because even in NCAA football 26, I hate those.
I can't hit them. I can't hit them.
That's why I don't. That's why I'd rather go for it on 4th down than kick a field goal when it comes to NCAA football 26. But then we have Georgia at number 3 because they win the SEC title game against Alabama.
Yep.
Texas A&M at 4 because the Big 12 is so watered down these days.
Texas Tech at 4.
I'm sorry, Texas Tech. Yeah. It should be Texas A&M if I had my druthers when I realignment. Texas Tech. And then here's where the drama starts. Oregon at number 5, which Oregon, we have to bring back the Pac-12. The Pac-12 should have never died.
I've been saying this, man. I miss the Pac-12 being a legitimate conference, bro.
We'll do a part 2, if not next week, in a few weeks, where I showcase how we should remake the divisions in the conferences.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down for that, man.
Because the Big 10 is basically the Big 17 or the Big 18. The Big 12 is almost the same exact thing. The SEC has schools that should be in it, but the worst part is the ACC has Stanford, and California, Berkeley, in the Atlantic coast. I that's where I get really like
pisses me off, brother. Pisses me off.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This is why our education system's in the shitter, because Gulf of America exists, and you're telling kids California plays in the Atlantic Coast Conference when the Pacific Ocean is exactly. That's why we have dumb kids these days. Like, it's ridiculous. So Oregon at number 5 because they didn't face Ohio State. They faced Indiana and lost to them. So they don't get penalized for not facing Ohio State. And then number 6, Ole Miss. They did get punished for Lane Kiffin ditching them, which they shouldn't. Again, your coach leaving you, you're still going to be a good team. Like I said, they still beat Oklahoma. They'd still beat LSU.
Yeah, they deserve a shot, bro.
Yeah. But since the SEC is so watered down, they never faced Alabama, and they didn't face Texas or Texas A&M because Texas A&M is 7. And my dream matchup was these 2 teams I've got on the bandwagon for, which was Ole Miss and A&M. So there's a small chance of it happening based off the way this bracket is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too heads because here's where the other part of the drama starts. In the Texas A&M matchup, as we'll get to. So Texas A&M at 7, and then why is Oklahoma here?
Because Oklahoma. It's just legitimately just.
And that's why it's the matchup of this game should be boycotted. This game. This is how you know corruption is real. Oklahoma at 8, Alabama at 9.
And Bama, yeah.
That's like abolish the whole system. That's what we need to do at this point because Alabama finishes 7-1. Oklahoma finishes 6-2. And don't forget, Oklahoma lost to Texas, who just barely missed out because they couldn't beat DJ Lagway. That was the one game DJ Lagway didn't want to throw 4 picks that game. The talent went to Arch Manning like it was Space Jam that game of like, oh, another interception. Shit. But here's how bad the SEC was. Georgia at 7-1 in the conference. Alabama 7-1 in the conference. Ole Miss at 7-1. Texas. How come Ole Miss or Texas A&M don't get the spot? I don't know why Ole Miss, because they didn't beat Georgia in that game. And Texas A&M didn't face either of them. But that's what I mean. We're like, we have to fix these conferences, or we have to go back to where there's a division in the conference for like West team, South team, North team, East team, like stuff like that. Because
and make them play each other too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Shit is weird, man.
But this is the worst matchup, like I said, Oklahoma and Alabama, because they're the blue bloods, the glory schools, all of that. And then Miami at 10. What's the point of winning your conference? I'm not a Miami hater. I don't hate the U. I'm not anti-U. None of that. But if you can't win your conference, or even if you win your conference, you should be in. Duke should be in that spot, or should be the 12th or the 11th spot, because they won their conference. Otherwise, you're saying the ACC is irrelevant just because Florida State and Clemson or Miami themselves didn't win it outright.
Yeah, bro. The favoritism is peeking through on that, man. Like, I'm be honest with you, it definitely should have been Duke there, in my opinion. But Duke ain't selling tickets like Miami.
At 11 and 12, let's not waste time with little brothers. Like, I'm not a small school hater, but we all know what's going to happen.
You got to get real, bro.
Yeah. James Madison's going to get stomped out, and Tulane already lost to Ole Miss, and their coach is leaving to go to Florida. You think he's going to care if they lose to Ole Miss?
Don't give a fuck.
No. So that's where the committee had their own head up their ass, because this is a horrible bracket.
They did that to really show, hey man, this parody, bro, this fake parody we're creating in this. Like, no, it's not, bro.
No, it's okay. Big 10, SEC, Big 12. Okay. There's not as much parity in that. All right. At least it was an SEC, Big 10, SEC. All right. There isn't parity there, but you have the two SEC schools that shouldn't be there in the same game against each other. That's where, like, how much did they donate? How much? What was it?
What's the check amount, bro?
And then the Miami thing, like I said, like, if you couldn't beat the teams to win your conference or even get in the conference championship game, because that's the worst part. Miami didn't even lose the conference championship game. They just weren't in it.
That's insane.
That's
insane, bro.
On the
Duke was robbed. Duke was robbed.
All right. As of when it comes to my fandom in college football, I like to root for Notre Dame. Stanford's the local school in California that I'll root for. And I was always fond of Florida and the Gators because Tim Tebow was my favorite player watching as I got into the sport. But if I had to choose for a team to root for, I would choose for Notre Dame. So I'm not going to ride for the Notre Dame fandom that hard, because at the end of the day, since they're not in a conference, that works against them, because I do agree that the two losses they had shouldn't count as wins, but shouldn't be held against them that much, because it was Miami and Texas A&M who are in the playoffs, and the losses were, like everyone's saying, a combined 4 points. So they were the ultimate either-or games of, like, Notre Dame could have easily have won those games as much as they could have lost them.
Yeah, but had they been in the conference, they would have definitely won. They needed that conference game, bro.
They're splitting between the ACC and the Big Ten. And this guy, I forget, it's Red something that I follow on YouTube. He's a good college football video breakdown guy. When he did the history of Notre Dame, it was because the guy who was running the Big Ten at the time in the 1940s or 50s was against the Catholics. So it's like that's why they weren't allowed admission into the Big Ten as a conference, and said, all right, we'll just be independent. And that's what forced them to go and seek out Stanford and USC as opponents, and then create that rivalry with those. Yeah. But Notre Dame, again, they beat USC, which was a decent win. And then they beat Pitt when they were ranked. But at the same time, they stomped NC State. They stomped Boise State. They stomped Navy, which, geez, it's just unfair to face. As much as I want to give the Navy and Army teams credit for actually, like, fielding teams and going out there and winning, because they actually can have good seasons. But at the same time, like, don't put that as a feather in your cap of, like, hey, we won 10 in a row. Yeah, like, and you're beating you feel proud of beating the troops. As an American, you feel proud about that. That's how you conduct it. Yeah, like, and the other guy said, that's how you conduct yourself in a democracy. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, the rest of their schedule, they shouldn't have gotten the treatment that Alabama gets. Basically, that's what my point is. Alabama shouldn't get the treatment if Notre Dame isn't going to get the treatment, because for Alabama to get in, despite having 3 losses, shows there is winks going on.
Yeah.
Because at least Notre Dame won 10 games in a row to end their season. They didn't lose in the conference championship by not being competitive.
But also, my thing with Notre Dame, you got to step into the arena, bro. You gotta fight one of these big teams. At least if they had one big win like that.
So if they were in the ACC, they would have, because they, like I said, they beat NC State, Boston College, Pitt, Stanford, and then I think one other school I'm forgetting. So they would have had probably a better record in the ACC than Duke and Virginia, I think. So they would have been in that conference championship game and more than likely
easily won it too, and easily won it.
Or if they're lost in it, like Alabama would have gotten them in at 10-3 if we're gonna play that logic.
Yeah,
but and here's where again I like to be even-sided, even with my favorites. You can't then turn down your bowl game on some pouty shit of like, we didn't get into the playoffs, we're not even going to play in your bowl game as a consolation prize because we feel fucked over. I'm like, no, that's not how the game was played. Like, you can't
take it back to football. It's like the Vinicius Jr. when he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. It's like, you can't do that, bro. You still got to show up.
And it's funny that they were supposed to face BYU in the battle of Catholics versus the Mormons.
Oh man, that would have been great TV, bro.
It would have been great for me because it's the Joe Montana versus the Steve Young Bowl. As a Niner fan, that's the two schools my two quarterback oats came from. But it's like Marcus Freeman said, guys, we're going to stand strong together, united, and say the NCAA is corrupt and they're screwing us Catholics over. This is what Remick fought for in Sinners. The Irish, they always get fucked over. I'm showing you. And again, the Southerners are doing the ones in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. Those are the ones who are trying to bring the hatred to us. This is the lesson that Ryan Coogler is trying to tell us: is the Irish, they're on the same side,
just like us.
And the NCAA said, "Okay, Notre Dame, here's what's going to happen. You're not going to get any type of special treatment going forward." And Marcus Freeman's just like, "Oh shit, I really it's the Joe
fucked up now.
The Joe Bluth. I've made a huge mistake."
Now you're gonna get blackballed from paying those.
Now, exactly, like the Irish, you're gonna get blackballed. You're gonna have that label, and I haven't seen something blown up. It was blowing up in their face as fast as Sharon Moore's life was falling apart in terms of the NCAA said no. And Notre Dame was acting like it was 05, not 2025. Like we got sway, we got pull, we got power. Notre Dame. And
a quote from The Wire, my favorite quote: "The thing about the old days, they the old days." You know what I'm saying?
Didn't help when they're like the NBC Notre Dame games aren't high in viewership anymore, especially compared to the SEC games. I'm like, well, nothing is comparable to the SEC games, and they're not even that good compared to the other non-SEC games. I'm like, okay, oh shit. Like all
that being said, bro, it's even more making the case. Join a conference, bro. I don't even care what it is. Just join a conference.
It'll be the ACC because the ACC is already on the verge. Like, fuck it, let's disband this conference. Like I just said, they have West Coast teams in there, which shouldn't be. And now Clemson is on the decline. Florida State's on the decline. Miami keeps shooting itself in the foot.
Miami's gonna be good as long as they can find a quarterback in the portal, like they've been doing. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing. Like Carson Beck, his best game was the game against Notre Dame because he threw the ball and that receiver made the best catch of the year with the stretch back. Yeah. And that's what essentially got them in over. Because I agree with what everyone was saying, even though Booger McFarland was being the dumbest analyst on the panel last Sunday. An idiot.
Booger, man.
Yeah, but Joey Galloway was saying it best, and I think Reese Davis too. Is like, if you were just going to put Miami in over Notre Dame, then they should have been ranked ahead of Notre Dame every week in the regular season. If you're holding that win over Notre Dame, then don't play like, oh, Miami's creeping up on Notre Dame.
Yeah, on both sides. It
was teased. It was a real tease. Just like you said, to pull the football back, and Notre Dame is now like, you pulled the football on us. It's our football. We're taking it back. Like
we're taking it home, and we're not showing up. Yeah.
And now their season, it's gonna be interesting. Their off season because there's no bowl game for them. They're probably gonna lose guys to more so to the draft than to the portal, I think.
Right.
And then
they're going to always recruit well because they're Notre Dame. So
yeah.
But also, I think the bigger question is,
I don't think Marcus Freeman's leaving. I don't.
At Giants job?
Who wants to coach or you're going to have Cam Scatterbo coming off an injury. That's not going to be good. He's going to take some time to come back. He was already a freak with an asterisk. Like he wasn't a genetic freak. He was just a Scott Steiner freak.
I don't think I don't think he's gonna have a long career. I'll be honest with you. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
and especially
say,
after this injury, the way that foot looked, yeah, like his best day this season, the way he looked, he'll probably be more of a gadget than he was going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Jackson Dart. I mean, I'm on the Jackson Dart train. I actually thought he should have been the quarterback taken number 1 over Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think Jackson Dart's weakness is going to be what's in his head, which is his cha bro attitude, and like lack of like seriousness. But he can ball at the end of the day, so that's all that matters. That he actually, like, when it's time to turn it on, he can turn it on. But that Giants organization is so unserious with. You can just go back to how they handled the Saquon thing,
for sure,
and how they handled Daniel Jones.
The worst GM in sports. I don't know how he survived.
GM and coach Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll was a trickster. I think he
was living off Josh Allen's name.
Every offensive genius, again, like look at Kevin Stefanski, is when they take that head coaching job. I mean, people shit on Kyle Shanahan, but at the end of the day, look what Kyle Shanahan's done with Brock Purdy, and that's more than anyone could. And he made Jimmy Garoppolo suitable compared to when he went to be the starter.
He's shown his value, Shanahan. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But yeah, if Marcus Freeman takes that New York Giants job, I think he's too dedicated to the cause at Notre Dame than he would the NFL money. Because at the same time, I think he knows like the NFL coaching is more hardcore, and he's a family man. So I think he knows like his family's a high priority, and moving his family to New York and doing that type of lifestyle.
Even just the media circus of it all too.
Exactly.
I don't think he's something he wants to deal with.
Yeah. And that type of division where you have, even though Philly is self-imploding, Dallas is always going to be up and down.
It's a bloodbath always between the division. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I don't think he wants to struggle with that, which is why it always seemed like Notre Dame was hesitant to jump into a conference, because the Big Ten makes much more sense, obviously, with Indiana and Michigan, the old rivalry with Michigan. But the ACC would be a cakewalk for them much more than the Big Ten would. But if I had my druthers, like when we do the realignment, but at the same time, it need now more than ever, because they're going to just continue to screw themselves with, being the lone wolf.
Yeah. And now, I think, teams are going to turn down playing them. It's going to be hard for them to get the major games that they need,
because it'll be like this. Even if we beat Notre Dame, what's they going to reward us with? Is the
what's the value of it? So I don't know, man. I think a lot of the bigger schools at other conferences, I think they're going to be taking easier games, especially early on, kind of like build up that momentum.
I was going to say there's an issue now with the way scheduling is, because it almost seems like you should just, since the conferences are so big, you should just play your conference.
Yeah.
But these teams also want that week 1 mega matchup with all the eyes on them. I do think that hurt Texas, even though it was a close game. But had they beaten Ohio State, it obviously would have been much more in their favor than the loss to Florida was. So what really screwed them was losing to Florida, because they've been lost to Georgia. But everyone's like, well, this Georgia team's just obviously better than Texas. But that Ohio State week 1 game was close, and it was just Arch Manning making the wrong throw at the wrong time, and it was game over after that.
But honestly, if they didn't have a coach like Sarkisian, that could have really derailed them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Losing the game like that.
But it seems like they either want to have the mega matchup in week 1 and then the tune-up game in week 2, and then conference play starts. And then if you have a rivalry with a non-conference member, you play that game.
Yeah.
It almost seems like if this alignment is going to stay as is, maybe they should do a draw like Champions League.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Let's say they took again a team from each Power 4 conference, and then you add the smaller schools in to give them a competitive boost, and then that you build your schedule with a draw that way and do it. You had like the 4 key games like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, stuff like that. You have the rivalries or the trophy rivalry games matched up, but the rest of your schedule is by group draw, stuff like that.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Well, you have to play a certain amount of teams in whatever conference it is.
In your group, in that year's group. Yeah. This year your group consists, like, so for instance, like this year's
like
group,
the NFL, like the NFL schedule. Like, all right, this year you guys are playing the AFC East and the NFC West, Yeah.
Because with the playoffs right now, they're obviously going to expand them. That's what this Notre Dame thing is show them, is that it's, and they already want to expand to 16 teams. They're just now using this Notre Dame thing as an excuse to add more teams, because they also want to put Texas in and Michigan in based off the way those teams finished at 9-3, and they probably would wanted to put BYU in since they have a big booster foundation.
But at that point, you might as well just open it up like the basketball tournament.
I would say it is going to be March Madness at some point, where every team, if you're over 8-4, you're going to get in.
Yeah, just make it 32 teams and let them fucking duke it out, you know?
Yeah, and I don't want to see 16 teams. I think should be fair, because for the 4 teams to get a bye, like I said, are because they won their conference. But how come the Duke team didn't get in? If
exactly,
it's supposed to be a reward. And if you're going to let,
and even had they got in, they wouldn't have got that. Yeah,
yeah. And if you're going to let Tulane and James Madison get in, how come the MAC champion doesn't get in? How come the other conference champions don't get
Sun
in?
Belt or whatever,
yeah, just because they were the ones that were actually ranked. But still, if you want to reward little brother at the same time, then do what March Madness does and let Patriot League champion in. Yeah. You know, all those champions in. It's too much of a mess to figure out. Yeah,
it's difficult, bro.
But at the same time, I do think they know, like, it's better than the 4-team playoff. Like I said, being
the 14 wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I can conclude that.
Even though, like I said, it was making the other bowl games actually matter, because that's when we still had half the bowl games on the docket. But but still, yeah, because I do think they made the right decision with the Florida State thing, though, when it happened. Like, if you were going to lose your quarterback, we know what's going to happen in game 1. I bet, to be honest, they didn't think that way when it was Ohio State and Cardale Jones jumped in, because he played at the Big Ten title game to show them, like, all right, we can take them seriously.
I can still do this. Yeah.
But in hindsight, they were like, we just don't want to put you in Florida State. We want to put in Alabama, which is the lesson at the end of the day. It's that
it's always been.
It's always the South. Forrest Gump, all of it.
Forrest Gump University, yeah.
But no, like I said, to do realignment, I think you got to take it back to how it used to be. You got to make the states feel superior than each other. You know, you got to make it like to say, like, it's always bothered me that Georgia Tech's an ACC school and Miami's an ACC school. Like, you just don't want to compete against Florida, Miami. You don't want, and you know, and then you don't want to face LSU, Miami. You want to face the teams on the other half of the coast instead of the real Southern schools. Like, it's that part
like a workaround. Yeah,
it's that part that's always irritated me, the way things have been that way, or like the rivalry between like Texas and Texas A&M was canceled for a number of years, and then they brought it back. It's like, the teams in Texas should face each other. All the teams in Texas should face each other.
Yeah.
But the NCAA
my issue has always been like this affects basketball so much. Like, the football realignment. It's just
how much
so much,
because you care much more about college basketball, right?
Yeah, man. It's like it killed the Big East essentially. The Big East killed because of this whole thing. Well, it just hurt so much.
I think it's what's going to turn into is that football is going to have its own governing body when it comes to college athletics.
Yeah.
So they might want to revert things to how they used to be. And that since football is just so powerful, you have to treat it like it's something like a different entity on its own.
Yeah. Or what I would really want is the emergence of new conferences. Like, we haven't had that ever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because like you said, like going to St. John's, obviously that means something for basketball, but since they don't have football, like what would be the point of having a Big East football team conference with Syracuse and Connecticut?
Shit in there?
Yeah, because Connecticut is an independent as well. Them and Notre Dame are the only independent. So you would think like, Connecticut should just be in the ACC, especially this year since they had a winning record. Yeah, with Jim Mora. But
you can't do that basketball wise because like they're synonymous with the Big East.
You would get Connecticut would have a tougher schedule with Duke, North Carolina, and that's what I mean. So at some point you just have to say, because with Notre Dame, they already are doing this because they allow Notre Dame football to compete and Notre Dame hockey to compete in the Big Ten. Notre Dame basketball is in the ACC.
ACC, yeah.
And then Notre Dame lacrosse in the ACC too. So like they already do that. And I think the NCAA sees what Notre Dame has done and low key wants them to do it with a more official look to it of like creating your own schedule.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like what Notre Dame is doing is pissing the NCAA up, but also at the same time, like
It's inspiring.
You're speaking out about what we want to try to do, which is let's have Texas and Michigan face off in the regular season. Let's have LSU and USC face off in the regular season. Like they still want those, like I said, mega matchups in week 1 to get all the Dr. Pepper dollars and get all the Nissan dollars and all the eyes on them. So that way, over the course of the regular season, it's just about boosting the playoff resume. I think that's what we'll turn into, is that Notre Dame has to be the martyr of like building your own schedule, creating your own rivalries, but at the same point, being like non-committal.
Yeah,
to anything in particular.
It's such a balancing act, man. And I don't envy whoever really has to come up with this shit. You know, it's not, because it's not easy.
Well, remember when they were like Arch Manning? He's going to be the one to oversee the playoffs, and like for some reason, why do we treat Arch Manning with such dignity? As a player, he was mid, right? Like
exactly. He's only known for his genetics. Let's be real, bro. I was about to say,
it's like in another Ricky Bobby quote. Just because you got a hot daughter, just because you gave birth to a hot daughter, I gotta take care of you. Like that's Arch Manning with, because
Peyton and Eli,
yeah. I mean, Archie Manning just like, come on, like Archie, like, are you gonna be the grand soothsayer? Remember when they were trying to do that with Phil Jackson in the Knicks? Like,
yeah.
He's not gonna coach the team. He's not gonna coach the team. He's gonna oversee the whole operation.
Because our Arch Manning is just Tywin Lannister. Like he just running shit from the shadows.
Yeah, because even wasn't the whole point of Tywin Lannister is like he wasn't a soldier.
Nope.
He just kind of had money. Wasn't the whole point of like Casterly Rock, the place no one wanted to live.
Yep.
So that's why
he was the king. He on the king what to do, like all kind of shit. Yeah.
This is the ultimate game. That's why Game of Zones, even though that was basketball, but yeah, that's why it made much more sense. Yeah. Gridiron Heights. It's funny. Real college football seems like Gridiron Heights.
More so, yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it.
Yep.
But like I said, maybe it might be just a brief episode, but I want to show you breakdown state by state, conference by conference of how
we should
actually have the realignment. Take it back to the old days. USC, Stanford, East California. They need to be take them back to where they belong. Get them out of the Big Ten and the ACC. And
first things first. Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever. It's happening.
Put Texas back in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Put Oklahoma back
Oklahoma too.
Yeah. Yep, all of it. I got it. Because it's what I did for one of my dynasties in NCAA football. Was I'm like, let me make these conferences to see how it will look on paper. I'm like, I think I did a good job over here. I think I'm clicking with something. Yeah,
I got something here.
Yeah, because when I do it online, I'm like, oh, these conferences as is just. I hate looking at why is this school here? Like again, like they killed the Western Athletic Conference just to make the Mountain West even more worse. Like,
oh my god, bro, why is Syracuse playing Stanford, bro? Like, come on, man.
It's and I have to watch when they have Stanford face Kai Anthony in basketball. That's the only college basketball team I've been interested in watching this year is Syracuse, to see young Anthony, as I call him.
Yeah,
somewhat balled out.
Yeah, he's doing his thing as a freshman. You know, he's not a bum. He's no Bronny. You know.
No, I think he started out strong, and now he's kind of feeling like, all right, this is tougher competition, and he's got to fit in with the team that the coach already has in place. But I said this with Banks. I think he should be the one to stay and realize it'd be smarter to stay and actually develop, as opposed to jumping after my freshman year. So,
oh my God, Micah Parsons tore his ACL. Crazy.
The karma.
Full circle. Damn.
Jerry Jones. Never bet against Jerry Jones. He's always right somehow. He always knows
dark magic on him.
Yeah. It was funny that the first game ends in a tie. That was the ultimate like neutral good, neutral chaos, neutral evil. Like that was that game to a T of like, there's no winner, there's no loser. This is what y'all deserve, a tie.
That's it, man.
Because Parsons talks all that shit, Jerry Jones talks all that shit, and this is what they get. But
exactly. Mahomes and Michael Parsons tear their ACLs on the same day.
Pat Mahomes. It's over.
Kelsey, go home, be a family man.
Exactly. And he already wanted to. You can tell he's like,
he was done. He checked out 2 years ago.
Go podcast with your loser brother, you fat piece of shit. Like
go sell your cereal.
And your podcast, New Heights.
That show was so bland, bro.
I haven't watched the. To me, that's we could also do a whole episode about just don't
Athlete
trust white people.
podcast.
No, athlete podcasts are all, but don't trust white people, especially
Oh, okay.
white people. White people get forced into positions that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah,
Like, why should I care about what Jason Kelsey says? He's a center. All right.
exactly.
He's a center who married a woman off of Tinder. Okay. Big whoop. That's America.
Hey, I'm about to say this generation is like 90% of couples at this point.
Yeah. Like, you're not special. All right.
Yeah.
You look like every average guy in Ohio.
They met on online dating app. Like, oh yeah, who kind of has it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who hasn't? Yeah. We all meet online. It's the way white people get put on a pedestal for the easiest things.
Yeah.
It just
It's
irritates
insane.
me. That's why I'm the first one to rally against anyone successful white. Like the whole Tommy Richmond thing. I'm like, we all know what's gonna happen. We all know. Let's not fall for it. Come on.
You like the flag bearer for the Tommy Richmond hate, which I respect. You know what I mean?
Anyone again, like the way I was always the one like Post Malone. Don't trust this guy. Don't. And look at him now.
Yeah.
And his Levi jeans and his Bud Light. What's he saying?
At the CMT Sketchy Music Awards.
Yeah.
And shit. Yeah.
Again, it's as a white man, I know how to read white people, and I don't trust them.
You're like a fucking safety for white people, just reading the defense.
I am. Yeah. I'm Eric Weddle. I'm looking at I got the taped up fingers. Like no. We gotta do the seals.
Your white Ed Reed, just watching the whiteness.
I'm trying to think what my number one was, where I'm like, oh, I know this guy's playbook. I know this guy to a T. It played out, but it's the same. Like I scouted Austin Butler right away. I'm like, Austin Butler. Anyone who's ever watched television for the last 10 years has seen Austin Butler. He's not special. He was on CW shows and then TV shows. Like, okay, and everyone's like, Oscar nominee. I'm like, for what?
Guy's next.
I'm like, for doing like that's it.
They
like, that's all it
continuing to
took.
do it way after the movie's been done.
Yeah, that's why I
he
think
still kind of has it too. He still kind of.
I don't think and because this is all white on, I don't think Timothy Chalamet is fed stuff, but because he seems too genuine for a guy close to our age that all this stuff would be his interest. I don't think he's like say this about ECW One Night Stands 2006. Say this about the NBA. I think he's genuine in his demeanor, like and how he dresses and all. I think Timothy Chalamet, because he's about to turn 30, he's a kid who grew up with YouTube and the internet and the era of like you watch anime, you watch sports, you watch wrestling, you watch movies. So I think he's probably the most genuine out of all of them.
Well, with Timothy, I always tell people he's just a white guy from New York. If you ever met a white guy from New York, that's just how they act, bro. So it's like, yeah, it's nothing shocking to me, man. Shout to Timmy Tim. I was there once again. I was there when the bass guy blessed him. I was in the building, I was in the room.
And it goes back to early because I think he was one of the first people to shout out Cardi B on the red carpet when she was just starting to blow up as a with the first album. He was like, because he's like the Bronx, Cardi B, like in the end, everyone's like, what the hell's this guy? What's this kid talking about? And then boom, look at her now.
Yeah, he's white Ray J, bro. He's like the nexus point of everything.
All right, let's not give Ray J too much credit.
He's white Ray J, bro.
I know Vince Staples broke it down for us about how essential Ray J is, but let's not give Ray J too much credit on stuff.
What the MCU say? He's a nexus being, bro.
Because at the end, he said these glasses won't break. He said, "Are you sure about that?" I can't take a man who will lie that blatantly. I can't take you serious
on something that could be proven so easily, you know.
I'd rather Sharon Moore say, "I still love my wife after all this," than I would trust Ray J selling me any type of product.
You got to have the Kobe press conference with the ring, bro. If you're gonna do it, bro. Love my wife.
Sharon Moore. I don't want to say you got my sympathies, but I'm gonna say, hey.
That's a guy in a tough spot. You know what I mean?
That's why when Del Curry divorced his wife, the next thing he was seen with was like a 30-year-old. It's like, hey, these guys know, like, just get a divorce. Just do it.
Just do it, bro.
Yeah.
Or I always say, like, why is it always the young employee? Just get a professional, bro. You have the money, bro. Just go to the source.
Well, how do you write that off? Right, with the cash, because you have to use cash. So they're like, where is this $4,000 allotment to?
But you got so much money, bro. You could,
Well, all right. Here's it, because I feel
there's services.
No, but like the idea of a strip club was the point of this, right?
Yeah.
But did the Gold Club scandal really kill that for athletes and like being seen in strip? Obviously, we always make fun of like James Harden being seen at the strip club, but I'm like, at the end of the day, he's the one doing it right. Like,
yeah, I think it's that, and then the remember the Ashley Madison scandal where all the guys things got put out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a bigger paper trail and stuff. Like, you just go to the strip club and pay for it in cash, and then what's your tax write off? Like, I was at the strip club. ... Like,
yeah, I was networking.
Bring back old old honesty with women of the night.
Sales,
yeah. Oh, not just the honesty of like, I went to this strip club, okay? Instead of like, I mean, again, the OnlyFans thing of like, yeah, that's a service in itself, so you can use it that way. But like, I'm not saying what I paid for with the service.
Yeah, you got to take it back to the essence. You got to take it back to the essence. Ray J in Tampa, that's funny.
Yeah, him and Chris Jericho. Again, another guy who won't leave his wife. See, they get just leave your wife if you're married. If you're married,
is that the moral of the show.
Well, if you're married and you've got grown kids, leave your wife.
Yeah.
But on that note, man,
I appreciate you, man. Hey, man, Black Variant on everything. Black Variant RNC on everything, man. Shout out to X. New episode coming this week, man.
Yeah, but I just showed y'all on the most recent one. Like I said,
shout out to Davis coming on. We did a little home and home.
Yeah. Well, we're really gonna do the four of us getting together again. Like I said, I want to talk to you all about actual comics because I need to catch up on some. But I saw those covers of the Spider-Man, Superman. So I'm like, this is one I might have to read too. And I did Static Shock Batman Beyond dropped already, right? The first one.
Yep. Yeah, it's good.
So I got to read that one. So yeah, there's stuff out. So hopefully either late January or early February.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Make that happen when I catch up on some issues.
Yeah, we nothing but a text away, man. So you already know, man. We appreciate y'all boys.
Yep, same. And again, college football, get your shit together. It's been far too long. You're breaking our hearts. Man. Every year, man. Well, who do you really root for to end it? Because I said since you go,
I like Ole Miss. Be honest with you. I was kind of like a fan of Ole Miss. When I was a kid, I was heavy USC just because of Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and whoever. Yeah, but I fuck with Ole Miss mostly for the most part.
Like I said, the way that, just to put it on one more time before we get out of here, the way their bracket is, I said, in my perfect world, they'd face Texas A&M after Texas A&M beats Miami. And then, because I think Ole Miss will obviously beat Tulane without a shadow of a doubt.
I think Georgia smokes them though. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then I bet for some reason I feel Alabama's going to beat Oklahoma just to show that they deserve to be there the whole time. Oregon's going to stomp James Madison.
Indiana. I think Alabama smokes Indiana, bro, for some reason.
That, you know what? I don't want to say necessarily they would because the way Kurt Cignetti is, I think even though Nick Saban's not there, I do think he wants to like stick it to them so if they ever come calling, they know who to come
for sure.
Calling next for. Oregon at Texas Tech, that one could go either way. I think. Even
Oregon has like a flop gene, they have a bozo gene. Yeah,
they have it. But once I saw Dan Lanning had that tattoo on his side, I don't know that kind of like
wrote it off there for sure.
Yeah, I'm like this. I mean, I respect it because it's his wife, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if that's the type of guy you'd want to follow in a battle.
Can't lead me, not in my locker room.
Yeah, so if Ole Miss were to face Georgia again, Georgia would probably beat them, especially without Lane Kiffin there. Texas A&M, Ohio State would be a good matchup. Yeah,
that would be. Yeah, I still think Ohio State wins, but it would be a good matchup. But then Georgia, Ohio State.
Georgia, Ohio State,
I will be there.
Yeah, Indiana, Texas Tech more than like, or Alabama versus Texas Tech more than it's looking. Ohio State probably might have the chance to repeat more than anything, or it's just something about Kirby Smart and that fucking visor that kills me because it's his haircut, the way it fits around it. It just looks too ridiculous.
You ever seen that picture of that rapper Pat Pooh's getting a shape up with his hat on? It's kind of like that, bro.
I want you to cut the sides down to the below the visor and keep everything above the visor as is. Yeah,
exactly.
But no, I think I was kind of tuning in somewhat since Notre Dame were in the playoffs last year, but the way that the rest of the that bracket looked last year with Dylan Gabriel in Oregon, like you said, the flop gene, everyone was kind of writing Ohio State off because they had just lost to that aforementioned Sharon Moore Michigan team. So yeah, it might be more wide open than last year's was. Just and who knows? Maybe Miami's motivated to like stop fucking up and like shut everyone up. Who knows? Carson Beck is the one who has the most to prove, I think, out of everyone because he was getting paid what, $6 to $7 million.
Yeah, and also him saying I don't watch football. I still think that lingers on people's minds.
No, as a guy who likes Brooks Koepka, the golfer, Brooks Koepka was the one guy who he was becoming like the CM Punk of golf for a while, where he was saying like, I think golf is boring. When I'm at home, I don't watch golf, and that was because he was winning major after major.
Right.
So I think it kind of works to think, and he was saying it from like, it's my job. Why would I want to watch my job? So I think I think that kind of works for. I mean, if he's saying like, if he were to say I don't watch film, or just, I'd be like, whoa, okay, what's going on here, cowboy? You just go out there and then see shit. But yeah,
Jamarcus Russell shit, yeah.
But Carson Beck was saying like, but yeah, as a man though, what do you spend your Sundays doing? Yeah, like you have to have a team at least. Do you watch their games? That is kind of weird. But when the Cavender sister said he had no friends, I'm like, hey, some of us guys kind of have some trouble with the male bonding, but hey, leave the man be. I'd say his tattoos piss me off more than anything. But as a guy with tattoos, I can say that.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
So, like Van said, make sure you check out Black Variant, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that, Patreon.
Yep,
because that's where you guys got Secret Files.
Yeah, classic Secret Files. Yeah, all kind of watch-alongs and stuff.
The most legendary Secret Files is that one that Banks always references, the one with Big Team. Shout out to Big Tim.
Oh yeah. 3 of the X versus 10 feud. You know what I'm
saying? And make sure y'all are subscribed to Banks versus Davis. If you're new, we appreciate it. Like, recommend, comment, all of that. We're on our march to 500 subscribers. Hopefully we get that soon. Like I said, we just did the commentary track last night. We'll probably go, Banks and I will probably go live next Sunday like we normally do. We're not sure if it'll be afternoon or evening. The evening seems to be working out, but it just depends on our schedules. But if you miss Banks, you can always check him out on RAOP's Patreon with him and Amp. Great episodes, or him and Dot on Tangents. Classic episodes. But also have Black Announce Tables Patreon where he and Eve, shout out to Eve, where they do Wiretap. Like that Jackass theme song is still in my head when they talked about. I really think, to wrap it up, the episode when Johnny Knoxville took on the USC Trojans by himself.
Yep.
And Prime roided up Taylor Mays wrecks him. And I'm like,
I thought he died, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I thought that was it for him.
Johnny Knoxville is a different breed, but we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.